Good evening, folks. I'm not Yaz Rana, but the show must go on. It was very much India's day at Lord's, KL Rahul's day at Lord's. The India opener finished day one unbeaten on 127, with India running that England bowling attack firmly into the ground. The visitors are 267-3, and though we might just be a day in, this is very much their match for the taking. Phil, you spent the day at HQ. I mean, you're back at home now, but you did spend the day at HQ. Let's begin with Rahul. Now, this is this gorgeous batsman who we saw deliver a masterful 100 at the Oval in 2018 before he fell off the red ball radar for a couple of years. He made his return at Trent Bridge because of injuries elsewhere and was thoroughly impressive there, but this was much, much more than that. This was a statement knock. Take me through it. What unfolded?
Well, I understand why you start with Rahul, but him and Sharma worked in cahoots today. They both complemented each other beautifully, and there's an old world classicism to the way that they play that is at odds really with the kind of confused, multi-layered, technical mumbo jumbo that seems to be infiltrating modern batsmanship. And it was refreshing to see. And anybody who loves the artfulness of cricket, and especially Test match batting, would have enjoyed it today. They are both of a different era in some respects. They set up very side on. They stay relatively leg side of the ball. They don't follow it. They don't overhit it. They are kind of carved from the same sort of granite as the great old legends of the game, really. And it felt like a kind of a throwback today. You know, the sun crept through, the crowd were attentive, and the classic old Lord's hum was very much in evidence. It was a day of cricket for the purist, I suppose, and it was reflected in how those two played. You're right about Rahul. It's a mystery to me why he's not played more Test matches. We've spoken about this before many times. I was at the Oval in 2018 when he made 170 odd of the most pure Test match runs you can imagine, really. He has the game to flourish against the red ball, and we've seen it last week at Trent Bridge, and we've seen it again today. It wasn't flawless, but he grew into the innings. He deliberately played the foil to Sharma for the first 2 or 3 hours of the day, and then having kind of almost sort of showily ignored the 4 ball for the first 2 or 3 hours. Once he was properly in and he was past 40 odd, 50 odd, that's when he started to really open up. And I thought the way he played in the last hour and a half, especially against the new ball, was imperious, really. In my mind's eye, the innings of the day is Sharma's. And it took a special bit of bowling by a middle-aged man with an Indy quiff, as I may have written this afternoon, to get rid of him. That Sharma knock, Taha, 84 of the purest runs you're ever going to see. That will live on, right? I
mean, remarkably, that's his highest Test score away from home. Now, this is a guy who we've seen for years crush it against the white ball. It's only in the last couple of years that he's gone up the order for India. And you've written this today, in that he didn't need to do this. He didn't need to cruise the Test game. He could do quite easily what loads of other people are doing, which is just dominate against the white ball. But this is special now. We're seeing a Test career, a proper Test career, come together.
Yeah, and he's averaging what, 46, 47 now, I think, in Test cricket now. I know it's skewed. I know he's a god on Indian pitches, which are not easy to score on, incidentally. I mean, the days of flat tracks and ball draws and Keith Fletcher taking his team over there and 5 draws in a row, those days are long, long gone. That 161 he made in the second Test match of the corresponding series just gone against England, that was a masterclass, and not a masterpiece, not just a masterclass. Today, he was undone by Anderson, as can happen, and it was a Jaffa with an old ball. It came out of nowhere, but for 80 odd, under those conditions, and England, I don't think bowled back that badly in the first session. Particularly, they could have maybe been a little bit more straight, maybe attack the stumps a little bit more. But that ball was still doing a lot. That ball was alive, and Sharma has this knack that the really, really top quality players have of just absorbing it, sucking it into their orbit, and And any player who can drop onto the front foot against Mark Wood, who was bowling literally 94 mile an hour, and drop it at his feet as if he's playing, as I wrote, one hand, one bounce against a couple of kids, that takes talent and gifts that are moving in towards the genius kind of realm. And Sharma has always been an enigmatic player. He's been one of my all-time favourite players for years now. 7 years elapsed, apparently, between his ODI debut and his Test match debut. Well, now, all of those gifts in the one-day game that we know of, 3 double hundreds or whatever it is, a World Cup under his belt, and so on and so on. And now we are moving the Test stuff into line with his talent as well. And he's a joy. And he's a very human player as well. You know, this is not a cricketer who has been grafted from the kind of the hyper riches of the IPL. This is a cricketer with soul, and it comes across in the way that he plays. And I'm not just saying this because I've had a nice week. It was a genuine privilege, genuine privilege to be there today.
And we talked about the great stuff. Let's talk about England. What did you make of their bowling performance today? Because there's a clear pattern emerging in the series where you've got Anderson and Robinson doing their thing, picking up the wickets, but you don't really know where the other wickets are coming from right now.
I looked at the team sheet at the start of the day, and while we can quibble over the top six, the composition of the top six and the personnel of the top six, I liked the look of the bowling attack considering everything that they had to work with. 3 seamers, 1 out and out quick, a left arm seamer and a spinner. That looked like a Test attack to me. I don't think they bowled badly. I think Robinson bowled very well. I think Robinson is a Test cricketer. He's a Test bowler, and I think we'll see that more and more. They respected him as well, those 2 batsmen that we've mentioned. You could sense that they respected him. And, of course, he got rid of the king at the end with a decent bit of bowling with the new ball. Curran is toothless against good players, but he's also a batsman who bowls. So you can't really throw the book at him, particularly, I don't think. He is fulfilling a role that, if we weren't living in crazy times and Stokes hadn't been pushed to the well more than he could cope with, then Stokes would be playing in this side and Curran would be on the bench. So I don't think we can throw the book at Curran particularly. Mark Wood, my heart goes out to Mark Wood. My word, he averages 23 away from home. And at home, his average is north of, Ian Salisbury's, right? So he's struggling in English conditions. But that pitch today, and he's played a lot of his Test cricket home Test cricket at Lords, which is a killer of a track if you are that kind of bowler. And every time he falls over in his delivery stride, a part of my heart just falls with him, It's painful to see. And again, he didn't bowl badly. He bowled one side of the wicket. He tried things. He went round the wicket. He bowled to a leg side 6-3 field. He tried everything he could. But that kind of up and down raw pace from that kind of trajectory on these kinds of pudding-like tracks, you're asking for it, I'm afraid. And it's not his fault because his skill set is not it's not tailored for these kinds of conditions.
Yeah.
That said, if they'd gone in there with another medium fast, Saqib may have been close to playing, and it would have been interesting today to see Saqib play, especially running into tomorrow with the dry conditions. He might have got a bit more reverse, and you may yet see Mark Wood get a bit of reverse. You saw him turn the game a bit against New Zealand at Lords, so it's possible that he can yet come into the story, but I felt for him today. England have stunk the place out far worse than they did do today. They didn't have catches that I'm aware of. Did they?
Not that I can remember, no.
No. They didn't get much luck, let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right, you make your own luck, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't get much luck. A couple of chances just fell short. Sibley had one on the half volley. The openers played and missed a number of times in that first session.
Yeah.
But they played and missed with panache, right? They held their shape. They held the line. They didn't go looking for it. If you trust your technique, then these play and misses, which look like cigarette papers between success and failure, they're kind of not. It's not quite as straightforward as that. That said, on another day, England might have got lucky. Sharma inside edged a couple past his leg stump. Another day, they could be 5 down. But the gulf in class between the two teams, it's there for all to see, right?
And on that note, I reckon we should wrap things up. This was fun. I hope you had a wonderful day at Lord's, Phil. To those who watch this, we'll be back tomorrow. And if you've got any questions for us, pop them in the comment box below. Thank you very much.